Maharaja Ranjit Singh, or the Lion of Punjab, was known as the first Sikh emperor. In 1801, he became the Maharaja of Punjab at the age of 20. The Sikh Empire, also known as Punjab, was a secular state under Ranjit Singh. He was the first Asian ruler to modernize his army to European standards and was well known for filling leadership positions with men of various religions. Maharaja Ranjit Singh is remembered for uniting the Punjab as a strong nation and his possession for the Kohinoor diamond. However, his most lasting legacy was the beautification of Harmandir Sahib, the most revered Gurdwara of the Sikhs. With walls of marble and gold, it derived its popular name, the Golden Temple. Three flying Sikhs from left to right, Hardeep Singh Malik, Mahinder Singh Puji, and Meher Singh. It's a humble tribute to the countless other Sikh pilots from the Great Wars, now deceased, that have been forgotten. The plane is a camel Sopwith. Flying Sikhs is a testimony to the brave and selfless contributions these unsung heroes made to the war efforts across the world. The history of the Sikhs who flew in the Royal Flying Corps, the Royal Air Force, and the Indian Air Force have been forgotten. Hardeep Singh Malik was the first ever Indian pilot to try to enlist in World War I, the only Indian pilot to miraculously survive the war. He later became PM of Patiala and High Commissioner to both Canada and France. Sikh pilot Mahinder Singh Puji, DFC, had a brilliant record for bravery. He saved a 300-strong battalion of lost American soldiers that were given up for dead in the dense Burmese forests. Meher Singh was one of the most celebrated fighter pilots of the Second World War, a pilot par excellence and a daredevil. These men represent countless of other Sikh pilots. The Flying Sikhs was selected for the 2015 juried open art exhibition out of 734 worldwide entries. It also won Special Merit in Light, Space, and Time Online Art Gallery. Sikh soldiers in France, World War I. This painting is a tribute to the valiant men who fought and sacrificed their lives during the British Raj in India. Over 138,000 Indian troops fought in Belgium and France during World War I, many of them Sikh. Deaths neared 250,000, of which 26% were Sikh. They fought with dedication and loyalty for a cause that was not even theirs. It is a tribute to a legacy long forgotten. A tribute to the forgotten Sikh soldiers who fought in a bygone era under a different flag for a cause that was not even theirs. A tribute to their bravery, heroism, valor, and sacrifice. This particular scene captures a scene in Flanders, a region in Belgium where other cultures are quite foreign. The curious children represent the reaction of the vast majority. The Burning Punjab. This painting depicts a scene of agony and suffering faced by millions during the partition of the British Indian Empire. It led to the creation of sovereign states, of the Dominion of Pakistan, which later split into Pakistan and Bangladesh, and the Union of India, later Republic of India. In the riots which preceded the partition in the Punjab region, it is estimated that around 200,000 to 1.5 million people lost their lives. It was the largest mass migration in human history. Nearly 14 million Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims were displaced during the partition. Punjab before the partition of India included present-day federal states of Pakistan Punjab and Indian Punjab, as well as a number of semi-autonomous princely states of the time. Violence extended broadly and viciously during this political partition in forms of loot, capture of property, abduction, and rape of women. It is stated that the partition of the Indian subcontinent resulted from a long list of deliberate actions and failures to compromise on the part of British authorities, the leaders of the Indian National Congress, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leader of the Muslim League. All three were responsible for deliberate or misplaced actions that contributed to the majority of violence that occurred. The Half and Halves. It's the story of the Punjabi Mexican communities of California. the first marriages between Punjabis and Mexican Americans. It occurred in the early 1900s after waves of men from Punjab immigrated to the United States. Their numbers were initially small, estimated in few thousands, and mostly were Sikh, adapted to their lives of farming communities in the United States, particularly in California's Central Valley and Imperial Valleys. Their extensive agriculture knowledge helped them plant troves of peaches and prune orchards, which today produce 95% of the peaches and 60% of the prunes that grow in Yuba Sutter County, a fertile agricultural hub. Strict immigrant laws prevented Punjabis living in the United States from bringing their wives from India, thus creating a distinct problem for the community. Many married Mexican women that worked on their land because of their cultural similarities and proximity. This unique community stemmed from the effects of British colonialism, transitional labor immigration, and American economic opportunity. Many multi-generational families in the area can today trace their multicultural and multi-ethnic histories back over hundreds of years and refer to themselves as Mexican Hindus, Hindu, or East Indian. Komagata Maru in troubled waters. On May 23, 1914, Komagata Maru, a steam liner carrying 376 passengers, mainly from Punjab, India, arrived in Vancouver, British Columbia. It had sailed from Hong Kong to Shanghai to Yokohama and then to Vancouver. The majority of the passengers were not allowed to land in Canada. Canada's exclusion laws allowed only people who come from the country of their birth or citizenship by a continuous journey and or through tickets purchased before leaving their country of birth or nationality. They challenged Canada's right to deny their landing, but it eventually was denied. On July 23, 1914, the Komagata Maru passengers were forced to leave Canada. The passengers proceeded to stage a peaceful protest upon returning to India, but they were fired upon by the British. Many died and others were arrested. The British saw this as a threat to their authority. This was one of the most notorious incidents in the history of exclusion laws in Canada, designed to keep immigrants of Asian origin out of the country. Sikh in Africa. The Uganda Railway was named the Lunatic Express and dates back to the colonial times. Its entire 660-mile length actually lay in what would become Kenya. Construction on the project began in 1896 at the port city of Mombasa in British East Africa, and it was completed in 1901 in Kisumu on the eastern shore of Lake Victoria. The people who opened up the country and the East African region for commerce and trade by building the Kenya-Uganda Railway have never been recognized. Construction was carried out mainly by laborers from British India. Nearly 32,000 of them were brought in because of lack of indigenous labor. They were a competent group of engineers, artisans, and laborers who were already accustomed to the tropical conditions. Men were infected by hundreds of diseases and lost their lives to man-eating lions who pulled railway workers out of carriages at night. Then there was the hostility of the Maasai and other local tribes who did not want the railway. The name Lunatic Line or Express was hence aptly given. Approximately 2,500 men lost their lives. Most of the surviving Indians returned home. However, 6,724 decided to remain after the line's completion, creating a community of Indian East Africans. (1984) 1984 remains one of the darkest moments in modern Indian history. It was a genocide directed against Sikhs in India, notably by the then ruling political party, the Congress Party. It resulted in the violence in Delhi and parts of northern India and was triggered by the assassination of Indira Gandhi, India's Prime Minister. On October 31st, 1984, she was assassinated by 2 Sikh bodyguards. This was in response to her actions authorizing a military Operation Blue Star, in which she ordered the army to attack the most significant Sikh shrine, Harmandir Sahib, or the Golden Temple, in Amritsar, Punjab. The Indian government reported a close to 3,000 deaths in the ensuing chaos, but the unofficial number is much higher. Voting lists were used to identify Sikh families. It was a case of the Indian government massacring its citizens, a case of crime against humanity. The specter of 1984 is all the greater because no one of any significance has been brought to justice. Yogi's Sikhs. Yogi Bhajan was born Harbhajan Singh Puri. He studied the spiritual teachings and scriptures of all the religions of the world. He learned Kundalini Yoga from Master Sant Hazara Singh, and he became a master himself at the young age of 16. He served in the Indian Army, and after military service, he worked in the Indian government until 1968. He then resigned to travel across the world to serve in the West. He first went to Canada, then to Los Angeles, where he gave his first public lecture. There he stated his firm conviction that it is the birthright of every human being to be healthy, happy, and holy. Many of the young Americans had been using drugs to alter consciousness at the time. Despite the taboo against publicly teaching Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan thought it was the most effective way to heal their bodies and their minds. In 1971, Yogi Bhajan was bestowed the title of Sri Singh Sahib by Sant Janan Singh in Akal Takht, or the seat of power in the Sikh religion, and was authorized to ordain ministers and perform the Amrit Sanchar, the Sikh ceremony of initiation. Through his efforts, Sikh Dharma became officially incorporated and recognized by the US government as a religion on April 10, 1973. Majority of his followers wear white clothes. This painting is dedicated to the efforts of Yogi Bhajan Singh. The Global Family. This painting depicts the nature of the world as we live in today. We are living in a multicultural society. The white dove is a symbol of peace and harmony. That is the wish of the artist and the need of the hour. Many of us, even in the present time, are not aware of the different cultures and communities and religions of the world. If we strive to learn and educate ourselves and the people around us, we can make this world a happier and healthier place. However, this change will only come with the acceptance of tolerance for each other. As Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the first Guru of the Sikhs, said, "There is no Hindu, no Musliman." So, let us not be aliens to our neighbors. We are a global family. Let us strive for peace.